Hello. A couple of weeks ago I planted out the exotic tropical border all the way along these two walls, and you can see that video on my channel, and I'll put a link above here. And this border includes plants like Musa, badgedew, lots of cannas, red ensete morellii, several different palms, tetrapanics, criniums, all kinds of plants that enjoy full sun. And that's ideal for this spot because that wall is south facing, that wall is east facing, so this area enjoys a lot of good light throughout the day. But in the tiny courtyard at the back of the cottage, something quite different is happening, because back here preparations are underway in this sheltered, shady, cool, damp courtyard for my jungle tree fern garden. And in this video I'm going to show you what I've done so far, my plant selection, and what I'm going to do next. And this little secluded area at the rear of the cottage is ideal for a fern garden because it's north facing and it's enveloped by the two outbuildings at the rear of the cottage. So it's shady and it's cool and it's damp and it's not often exposed to full sunlight, and that's the ideal environment for ferns and other cool, damp, shady loving plants. And I'm pretty sure that you can already see that I started the garden with this wonderful 7-foot tree fern, Dicksonia Antarctica. But the rest of the plants are over here on my left, waiting in the wings. And there's a reason why they're waiting in the wings, because I've not quite prepared the patio area yet. I want to get the patio down before I start planting out around it. But I have done quite a lot of the preparations for this 6-foot circular patio. I've scooped out a bowl shape of earth and I've lined that bowl with rubble hardcore, which I actually recovered from a channel along the side of the outbuilding here. And that rubble will be whacked down with a sledgehammer. It will form the substrate for the patio. On top of this, I'll put a bed of concrete and a circular patio. I've already got the patio here, again, waiting in the wings. And when I do that, I will show it you in a separate video. So that will be a lovely circular patio here. I've already planted the 7-foot tree fern, which we bought from the palm tree company, and I've staked it with this brace at the back, and I've tied natural looking jute rope around it, because of course these do not start out with any roots, but eventually that will root itself, and I may eventually be able to remove the brace from the back. But I won't do that until I'm confident enough that this tree fern is stable, because these great big fronds will act as a sail in the wind and I don't want it to blow over. When I got this only a month and a half ago, it was completely flat at the top. So in the space of only a few weeks, that plume of fronds has already grown, and if I feel inside it, there's already another 7 or 8 down there waiting to come out. So that's going to be a spectacular umbrella of a plant, and hopefully we'll be able to sit underneath it on the patio in the cool shade during the hot summer months. And I've got another 5 tree ferns over here on my left, which I will add to the collection and plant in the ground. I'll show you those in a moment. But the theme back here is green, shade loving plants. So I've bought a box of mind your own business. These are fascinating little plants, tiny little green leaves, and I'll plant those all around the base of each of the ferns, and this will create a carpet of green. So that's mind your own business. And I've got a box of 20 of those, and they will go all around the edge. Eventually they will knit together and create a lush green carpet. So I'll just pop that to one side over here. I've also got a selection of ferns. This is a heart's tongue fern, which we bought from Facebook Marketplace. And again, that will go somewhere around the edge of this patio in the ground. And of course, there are no gutters on these thatched roofs, so the rain just runs down and runs off. So that will keep this area lovely and moist. And I've got 2 of those heart's tongue ferns. Here's another one in the back. So again, that will be planted in somewhere, possibly opposite that one. And as we speak, as if to prove the point. The heavens have opened and I'm going to get wet as I demonstrate these plants. Anyway, a few more hostas. This is a giant hosta called Empress Wu, and I've got 3 of those, so they will add to the foliage effect around the bottom of the tree ferns. So that's Hosta Empress Wu. I've also got 2 other hostas. Hosta Jurassic Park. Both these varieties of hostas are giant hostas, so hopefully they will grow up to around this height. They're also supposed to be slug resistant, and in and amongst those I shall also plant some other hostas to add to that lovely green jungle effect. And as I place these plants here, you can start to see the effect that I'm going to achieve. Around the back here, I'll show you, I have a lovely Arum Lily, and again another type which is typical of a damp, shade loving area, and that will be perfect there. A couple more hostas to add to the mix. These are just standard hostas, and I learnt something. I know that hostas are susceptible to slugs and snails, but I learnt something the other day when I visited a local garden centre, and that is that slugs and snails don't like caffeine. So if you've got a coffee machine, scatter the coffee grounds around and it should deter your slugs and snails. Here I've just placed on these planters a slightly broader selection of ferns, 3 different varieties, and again they will all be underplanted around this area in the shade of these tree ferns, which will open out into a canopy. Now traditionally I've always kept our tree ferns in these planters. That's the first one I've ever planted into the ground, that 7-foot one, and I've had to brace them into these planters to stop them from waving around in the wind. But this time these are now going to be planted into the ground in this, their forever home. And I've got a variety of different sizes from 7 foot down to only 1 foot. I'm going to do another video on frequently asked questions around tree ferns. That one there, which is approximately 18 inches, might actually be 20 to 25 years old. Very slow growing. But the nice thing about having tree ferns of a variety of sizes is you get to enjoy all the different aspects of the tree fern, from looking down on it for the short one to enjoying the trunks for these slightly taller ones. This particular tree fern at the back here, which is approximately 4 or 5 foot tall, we bought last year, and I actually thought it was dead because it's done absolutely nothing for 12 months. It's not shown any signs of life until this spring, when I noticed in the crown some knuckles of fronds starting to appear, and now just look at it, I've got 6 fresh baby fronds at the top. So the message there is, if you think your tree fern is dead, don't give up on it, because it might just surprise you and come back to life. Keep it wet. And at the back there, I shall show you, there are a couple more hostas. And just to add to that lovely lush green shady effect, I'll just place those here. So now you can probably see with this selection of plants what it's going to look like. We're going to have the height from the tree ferns, the canopy from the fronds of the tree ferns, and all around, underneath, underplanted, we're going to have a selection of ferns and hostas. This, and I have 6 of these, is a shuttlecock fern, and that will actually grow to about 18 inches to 2 foot tall and have lovely bright green foliage, as you can see here. And so eventually, when the patio is laid in a couple of weeks' time and all these plants are planted out, and we get into June and July in the heat of the full sun, we'll be able to retire into this area and be enveloped in this lovely lush green foliage. So anyway, there's an update on how I'm getting on with the lush jungle garden at the rear of the cottage. And that's part 1 really. I've told you what I've done so far, and I've shared with you the plant selection. In part 2, I will show you me planting them out and the finished product. Well, that will come after I've laid the patio. I hope you found this enjoyable and entertaining and possibly even informative. If you have, please do hit the like button. And of course, if you haven't already done so, please do subscribe to my channel. And also comment below, have you got a shade loving garden? What plants have you put in it that I haven't included? Because there's always space for more shade loving plants. And I'll see you soon.